Damn! Welcome back to the project. So I've got my glue gun heating up. We'll explain all that, and I'll also explain why I have some tape with me. Normally I would use screen for this, but I don't have screen, so we're not gonna do it this way. So after a little bit of work, I managed to get the bolts out of here. I refitted them back into where they broke off. You can see where they snapped. But this has me concerned right here. I can patch all this, right? I can patch all this, not with glue. We're definitely going to be using some epoxy, some high-grade epoxy. That way this doesn't vibrate or break loose again. I'm going to put a very big patch of it on here, hopefully avoiding screws if possible, but I will be patching both of these. Both of these have been refitted now, but this hole has to be covered up. If rain gets in here or moisture, we're done for. Done, 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 done. So what I'm going to do, put a few pieces of tape over the top of it, and then I'm going to layer hot glue all the way around it, right? That'll also hold this one in place for the fix, but I'm going to layer glue all the way around, right? And what's going to happen is we're just going to put a layer of hot glue over this to keep this sealed, okay? So let me put some tape over it, and then we'll hot glue it together. We'll make sure we have a good coating of it over the top of it. Enough anyways that it fits over the tray, so we have a little room to play with because we have bumper guards on here. But I don't want to go too crazy either. But this is a great way, because we're going to leave this hanging for the night. That way the epoxy can heal properly, cure properly, and we'll be good to go. So let me go ahead and grab something to mix the epoxy up with that I can spread it with real quick, because epoxy starts drying really fast. But first thing we're going to do before we epoxy these into place is we're going to go ahead and put some tape over the top of this so that we can glue this real quick. Okay, as you can see, I put some glue on there. So the first thing we're going to do, start a nice big gob around here, get a good seal going all the way around. If I have to grab more tape, I will. But for right now, we're just going to put a big glob around it, like so. Smear it in real good. Want it to have a good connection all the way across there, as you guys can see. Then we're going to slowly start working our way in here so we have a nice coating of it over the top here. And as I suspected, I was going to run out of glue here, so I grabbed another stick, put this in here real fast. Bam, there we go. Back at it again here. And that will keep the moisture out. It will also make this a lot harder to break in the future. As you can see, we have a good coating across to everything. So now there's a nice thick coating of hot glue over the top of it, sealing this up again. So that was the hope, so we could do that. And now the rest will be done with epoxy. Just make sure I got a good seal over all of it. I do. I want to add a little bit more up here just to make sure we keep our seal. There we go. A little weak right there as well. Let's add a little bit more. Flatten it if we have to. There we go. So we got a good seal all the way around. I'm going to put just a tad bit more back here. There we go. Okay, that is now sealed up. Yep, things you can do with tape. And now we're going to epoxy all of this back into place with a very thick coating of epoxy. First we're going to let that dry, and then we'll give it a good coating. That'll keep the moisture out, and then we can lock all this into place real nicely. Boom! What do you think? Alright, so guys, I already broke my epoxy loose here. I'm going to start with a pencil and apply it with the back end of an eraser. Pencils are cheap. I chose a piece of cardboard here to do this on. So we're going to lay an even measurement of it out here. There we go. Going to set the epoxy down on the floor here. We're going to stir this up real good, and we're going to start applying it here. So let's stir it up. It's gonna smell awesome. Oh yeah, smelly stuff. There you go. Stir it in real good. Should start turning pasty white. There it is. That means the mix has started. So let's start applying it here. I'm gonna put a big coating of it all over. There we go. Mix it in some more. Make sure we got a good mix going. There we go. Come over on this side. Back all this up. There she is. Oh yeah. We got a really good mix going on here. We'll mix some more for the other side as soon as I'm happy with the way this looks. There we go. Alright. Let's add another mixture on the opposite side because epoxy's not cheap stuff. So we're going to do another mix right here. Blot it off. Stir until she turns white. You can see it start turning like a pearly color. Oh yeah, look at that. Alright, let's apply here. Big old gobs of her. We want this to have a good lock. The more the merrier. Stir, 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 stir. Let us not be wasteful. There we go. As I said, I wanted a lot of it on here. I want this to have a really good grip. I want it to spread out. I want it to be part of this unit now, for good. Spread her out a little bit more there. That was a big mix. Alright. That's it. Now we play the waiting game. All this is going to run for a little bit. And by tomorrow it should be really well sealed. Yep. Okay, it is morning. Let us check on the condition. As you can see, the glue healed over this nice and hard. That is beautiful. That is just gorgeous. I may actually touch up a few little spots here still, but the glue patch went all the way across and sealed very well. As you can see, the JB did very well as well. That is pretty sealed on there. I don't think that's coming off there again, guys. So I'm going to heat up my glue gun one more time because you can see I've got a little hole that I still need to patch right there. I had to wait for it to dry to see the little holes. There's a hole there, and hole there. Once we get all that patched up, this will be ready to reinstall on the bumper plates here and tighten back down, and this should be good to go. There shouldn't be any moisture getting inside here or anything. So you can see the glue goes all the way across. I just put it over the top of the tape and sealed this up real good. It's nice and tight so wind can't blow up into it and break the tape again. So we are going to just do a little touch up. As far as the epoxy goes, yeah, that was a very good seal. This is pretty sturdy. So, yep, that's very hard. Very, very hard. So that sealed very well. I'm quite happy with how that sealed. So let me just touch this up with some glue, and we'll put it back down. Alright, that glue is pretty much dried that I just put down, so it should be good to go there. And we're just going to flip this up now and hope that our holes perfectly line up here. I'm hoping our holes line up. That would be nice. We're about to find out here. There's one. And let's see if I can get it in there. Come on, you can do it. Get over there, little cable. There's two. And we're going to push lightly. Push, 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 push. There it is. And they're locked into place. They didn't break. They're seated on there really well. And that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. And now we put the rubber bumpers back on there. There's two rubber washers. Those go back over like so. And then we fit the nut back on there, if I can get it on here carefully. There's that side. Oh yeah. And here's this side. Alright. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now we just gotta tighten them down. And it's on there. There you go. She's up there. She's mounted solid. That's not going anywhere. Those rubber bumpers are good. I repainted the back of it. We're good to go. Just got to do a little bit of work right here and bend this little piece out and push that back down so that seats properly. But yeah, should be good. All the gauges should work now. Ooh, that light is really annoying. Boom! I love that this one actually has a decent gas gauge on it. So yeah, that's all ready to rip, Chip. So now all we're doing, everything's clean and ready to go. I still got to redo the seat, but this bike is pretty much ready to go, except for needing an oil change, which I'll be doing here. I got some full-blown synthetic 10W40, and so we'll be doing the oil change and a new filter. And then I have to put that cover on there. It needs some mirrors, so I actually ordered some spacers here to put some mirrors on this thing, because Florida state law requires you to have mirrors. So regardless, just getting mirrors. So I gotta probably move these down a little bit, so might feel a little awkward. But yeah, and then oil cooler. At some point I'll take it off and repaint it. It's the only thing that's really making the bike look kind of ragged right now, is that the oil cooler is just in rough condition and needs a new paint job. So yeah, other than that though, this thing cleaned up really, really well, and I still want to go through the chain with some degreaser, because I see a lot of grit in there. If you can see all that grit, that is what kills chains, is sand and grit, and this chain should be silver. It's still very black, and that was after I gave it a good rub down already. So the rest of this came out really clean. So yeah, Street Fighter, baby, 1200 Street Fighter. So yep, this bike will probably be on the road by the end of this month. I do want to do a little bit of carb, looking at the carbs, and I did order some aftermarket turn signals, because these kind of just look weird and kind of a joke. So I'm gonna take these off, cut the wires, and these are easy to get, so we'll take these off, cut the wires, and put some aftermarket turn signals on this thing. Give it a bit of upgrade look, and then we got a tank protector coming. So I'll put the seat back down. I always get a tank protector because it needs one. And then at some point I might just replace this gas cap because this is the original and it's pretty old and I only have one key for it. And I'd like to maybe get a new one before I lose the key and then can't open this and have to break the shit, which bends the tank, and I don't want to have to do all that. I'm so depressed, man. This thing was doing so good, but it has literally one... Is that two? No, that's the way the tank is shaped. Wow, that's weird. It's kind of a weird little meow. I mean, I know this, but... And then it comes down and does the same thing on both sides right here. It's a weird little thing. But I'm so depressed. It has one dent in the tank. The rest of the tank's completely clean. Just one little itty-bitty tiny dent in the tank. That sucks. But, yeah. So, almost ready to go here. It runs good, but like I said, I kind of want to go through the whole system. There's a few things I still need to address, like the clutch safety switch has been tied in to bypass, and that's an interesting thing to do. That means you can start the bike without having the clutch pulled. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it can't be that horrible because the kickstand has a sensor on it, so the bike will just shut off if the kickstand's down. So that's probably a good thing. But yeah. And then at some point, I want to address these handles because both ends of these handles have snapped off at this point. And I kind of want to go to third-party clip-on handles, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what's capable. I mean, this guy obviously did some weird shit because there's wire. Like, he put wire around this to keep it from moving. I'm not sure I like that. That feels really chintzy. And there's just some questionable things that were done that could be done better. It looks like whoever had this prior to her owning it was balling on a budget and did a bunch of budget things to this just to keep it on the road instead of doing things properly. So, yeah. Anyways, it's looking good though.
Good afternoon. Please give your attention to my associate, Agent J. He's going to demonstrate an electro-biomechanical neural transmitting zero synapse repositioner. We call it the neuralizer. Keep it simple, Slick.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Agent K. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.